بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين أما بعد فقد قال الله سبحانه وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن يطع الله ورسوله ويخشى الله ويتقي فأولئك هم الفائزون صدق الله العظيم. The more the ummah is reminded and we ourselves are reminded that good actions bring about good conditions and bad actions bring about bad conditions. If the ummah, the general masses, we as Muslims forget this lesson and we just function in life without taking cognizance of this fact, then for people to pursue in good actions won't become so important, and for them to abstain from actions that displease Allah, that also they won't make effort in that direction. Each and every person has to remind himself and herself and in the circles around him that good actions will bring about good conditions. All the other wasail and means, all the other aspects that are promising good conditions for humanity, that are giving assurances that this will happen, that will happen, there's no guarantee with them. But the sure route, the route and the road in which a person can put 1,000,000% guarantee is that in pleasing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will bring conditions that are muwafiq, conditions upon the face of this earth that a person can function with ease and afiyat. Halat, conditions, they're not in our hands. Conditions is in the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And according to how the servant of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala behaves on the face of this earth, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala changes the conditions and changes the hearts of people towards that person. We can't control rulers. We don't have the power to say this ruler must do this. After all, a ruler is a person who will rule how he wants to rule. We can't tell the king what to do. But above the king is Malikul Mulk, Zul Jalali wal Ikram. This king or this high-ranking person, to meet him, to have a clout and influence on him, you have so much of red tape. But the one who's the sovereign master, he hasn't kept red tape and long rules and long regulations that to meet me and ask me. He says, ask me and I will grant you. So the sovereign master, Allah Rabbul Izzat, we have to keep this in mind all the time. Allah Rabbul Izzat is the sole controller of all the situations. Tu'izzu man tasha wa tudhillu man tasha. Allah Ta'ala gives respect to whomsoever He wants, and Allah Subhanahu wa Ta'ala gives disgrace to whomsoever Allah Ta'ala wants. Then Allah Ta'ala has got it so much in His control that a disgraceful situation can in reality become a very respectful condition, and a place of respect can become a place of disgrace. So Allah Ta'ala is not bound to the day, not bound to the night, not bound to any condition. In the hands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is a total control of everything. Allah made everything and Allah runs everything. Allah Rabbul Izzat is Rabbul Izzat. He is a Rabb and He has total control over what He has created. At times a person will wonder, is this condition now, how it's going to come right? A person shouldn't be despondent like that. Rather, he should remember that the more I turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then Allah ta'ala will open up the way. in the time of the Sahaba Ridwanullahi Ta'ala Ali Majma'een, they had come to a king by the name of Najashi. In English we say Negus. This was a king, and at the same time the opposition, they tried to whisper propaganda in the ears of Najashi that the Muslims are like this, the Muslims are like that. In other words, to get them kicked out of his land so that they can take them back and continue to torture them. Now this is not one person that has a few thousand following. He's a king of a country. He's recognized. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala places in his heart rahmat and mercy for the Muslims. And to this extent that hailing from Africa, Najashi eventually accepts Islam. And Huzur Pak sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what we'll say in this occasion, made janaza al-ghaib. That means in that exception situation, that so much was his Islam appreciated, or so much Allah Ta'ala blessed him. He showed mercy to the Muslims. Look how Allah turned his heart, that Nabi Kareem sallallahu alaihi wasallam made janaza namaz for him from another land and asking Allah Ta'ala for his forgiveness. So the hearts of people, Allah Ta'ala is Muqallib al-Qulub, Musarrif al-Qulub. He can change the hearts of people in any direction. But in order for that to happen, there has to be something coming from our side. These Sahaba went with the hope for Sakawa by Najashi. They went with the hope that we are suffering in our land. Maybe here we will get some help. Maybe here we won't be troubled. And the intention was correct. When the intention is correct and the turning is to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then by the grace of Allah ta'ala, you'll find things coming into the lap of the Muslims. We have just passed the 29th of May, and lot has been spoken in our country. We don't know which way it's going to go. At this time, my dear friends and respected listeners over the receiver, it's important that you and I make istighfar. It's important that on behalf of our fellow countrymen and people, especially the Muslims, if they're not going to make istighfar, then we make istighfar on their behalf by saying, Nastaghfirullah, oh Allah, forgive all of us. Because during the time of an election, I'm not going into discussions of the electoral committee or something like that. If you look at it, the entire third kalima, we say kalima tamjid, subhanallah walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar, wa la hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Like the first kalima, second kalima, third kalima, fourth kalima, fifth kalima, is all to do with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But during the time of an election, during the time when a person becomes a candidate, then people get carried away that the entire tasbih and tahmeed and tahleel and takbir and hawqalatun la hawla wa la quwwata, unfortunately, sadly, it is now put upon a certain person and is put upon a certain party. Allah is saying, Subhanallah, that Allah Ta'ala, glory be to Allah. What does the party say? Glory be to us. Na'udhu billah. Allah Ta'ala is saying, Alhamdulillah, all praise be to Allah. What does the party say? And the supporters of the party say, all praise be to this party. Then, Subhanallah walhamdulillah, wa la ilaha illallah. Allah is saying, Allah ke siwa koi ma'bud nahi. Besides Allah Ta'ala, there is nobody worthy of worship. Besides Allah Ta'ala, there is nobody worthy of recognition. What does the party say during this time? We are the ones that can do it. We are the ones that should be recognized. La ilaha illallah wallahu akbar. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Akbarul Akbar. There's nobody that can even compare to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It shouldn't be brought into the equation. Like no person will say, do you know your father is elder than you? It's a flawed statement. Then how he became my father? Is it sensible to speak like that? So someone says there's a lot of things great and then Allah is greatest. Allah Ta'ala is great, nothing else is great. Everything else is given some prominence that is the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then there's no power and might. La hawla wa la quwwata illa billahi al-aliyyil azim. Allah is lofty, Allah Ta'ala is great, all powerful. And what does the time of election, what do people say? No, we are all powerful. So at this time, my dear friends, whilst ghayrullah and absent-mindedness with regards to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is there all the time, but we find during an election time, people's minds, either directly or even we as the followers of Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, our heart starts to go towards certain people. Ke isse kaam banega. Through him my work will get done. We're not denying that certain people are sympathetic to Muslims and the cause of Muslims. We're not denying that. But my trust, my hope, my wishes, my desires, my insight should not be on human being. Because human being is so fickle. Human being one day is with you, next day somebody dangles a carrot, he's running away that side. And then we're wondering what happened. So my dear friends, you and I, by and large, we are the residents of this country called South Africa. Most of us, or majority of us. If someone is visiting, welcome to you. Wherever Allah Ta'ala has placed a person, it is important that that person understands that where I have been placed is not because of just coincidence. Allah Ta'ala made me the follower of Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And the follower of Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam has got a job to do wherever he is. Whether the person is staying in north or south, east or west, that should not influence his thinking. His thinking should be that where Allah Ta'ala has placed me, my intention for that place, what is my intention? Sometime a person goes to a certain country where the currency is very strong. Like to a rand, you'll see, you need 50 rand to get one of that currency there. There are currencies there. So the person says, I'm going to that country because the earning is very good. Sometime a person goes to a certain place, he says, I like the weather over there. Sometime a person is very fond of nature, he says, I like greenery, fauna, flora, I want to go settle down there. A Muslim doesn't move because of currencies. A Muslim doesn't move because of beautiful mountains. And he doesn't move, yes, for health condition he can move. But this shouldn't be his sole objective. When Allah Ta'ala placed us in Durban, when Allah Ta'ala placed us in Cape Town and Joburg, Bloemfontein and Hammanskraal, wherever it is, Haq Ta'ala Shanu did not place us there just to earn our rozi. But in the heart of a Muslim is intention, my dear brothers. Intention of a person affects the condition. Long story short, one day there was a king. He was walking in his land under disguise. He didn't want people to know he's a king. He stopped by one orchard. And he told the person of the orchard, can I have something to drink? It was a pomegranate orchard. He squeezed the pomegranate. And from one pomegranate, almost a glass or two got full. So in his heart, it came that, you know what? I hardly got any taxes on this pomegranate. Let me place taxes. Feeling thirsty, conversation, he says, squeeze me another glass. And this time only half glass came out. So the person who was the owner of the orchard said, it seems that the niyat of the king has changed. That when the person who's got superiority, who's got preference on the earth, what intention he makes affects the place. So then the king thought to himself, let me change my intention. I won't place taxes on this. It's not right. It's a pomegranate after all. And he said, squeeze me another glass. And this time, like the original, 1 or 2 glasses got full with 1 pomegranate. So the person said, I think so, you the king. My dear friends, our niyat on the face of this earth where we are living should change. Yes, some of us are born here, so we're just taking life in Overport, Musgrave, Sherwood, wherever we come from. My life is carrying on. But understand, there's a certain job that I have to do here. First of all, Allah Ta'ala gave in the heart of a Muslim what you call raham and pity. This entire election, a person will become, whoever it is now, right, will become a president. He'll have an inauguration. And there'll be a doom-dam, dazzle, and all glamorous things will happen. And after that, what will be the condition of that person? For a few short years, 4 years, 10 years, 15 years, he will enjoy the limelight. But when this person will breathe his last, he might have a fancy funeral that will be broadcast in the whole world. But in reality, where is he going? Is he going to Jannat? The heart of a Muslim doesn't think only temporarily. It thinks that all these people who are enjoying fame, enjoying the limelight, how Allah Pak can give them the limelight in the Akhirat also. This is the heart of Rasul Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He's worried about a Jewish boy passing away. That I want him also to go to Jannat. Then, another important soul-searching point. I have to realize, who am I? Who am I, my dear brothers? Without prejudice. But if you ask somebody, who am I? I am certain person got certain qualification. Who am I? You know I'm a certain entrepreneur and businessman. Who am I? I got certain profession. Who am I? I'm certain person's son. Are bhai. How has a person addressed himself like this? Today if somebody tells us, what a beautiful cat you are. Hey, how can you call me a cat? I got no paws. Where's my whiskers? Can you hear me meowing? You calling me a cat? Nobody want to be called an animal. Everybody want to be called something that he's recognized for. Imagine we come out from the masjid now, after Jummah, wherever we have parked, and someone come and give you a 10 rand note. Say, Allah Pak, make it easy for you. How you'll feel? Just think properly. I'm watching you hold namaz, whole time in the masjid, and also take this bag of sweets for your family. Allah make it easy for you. And he taps your car. You know? What outwardly, without saying much, what did he think of me? That I'm a broken down Johnny. So nobody want to be addressed aside from what he is. But unfortunately now, professions, families, backgrounds have dominated our mind. And a person say, I am this, I am that. My soul searching should take me that I am from the party of Rasul Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I am the ummati of Rasul Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. I am the one that through the chains coming down has received the Quran Sharif. After Rasul Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam passed it on, it has come to me. I am the representative of Rasul Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam as an ummati of him. Why have we broken our status and brought it down that, you know, who am I? Certain businessman. I'm an athlete. What is so great about being an athlete? There were great athletes and great sportsmen. Who remembers them? Did you ever see, maybe in certain parts of the world, they make stars for famous people, and then people walk on those stars. Only one person, they put a star on the wall. He told them, if you're going to put me there, Muhammad Ali, he said, put my star on the wall because my name is Muhammad. You can't put the Prophet's name on the floor. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So our understanding has to be refreshed, my dear brothers. I'm not an ordinary person. Yes, I have to be humble. But understand, who am I? Then, like we discussed a minute ago, I should have zero expectation from anybody. Yes, I will function with people. I will work with people. But my only trust is on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's nobody for me besides Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then, my dear brothers, like we touched, just to expand a little bit more, that, oh my Allah, I have been placed in this country for the work of hidayat. Whatever work of hidayat. Somebody is good at distributing food. Allah bless your hands, continue to distribute food. Somebody has got a flair on how to look after orphans, then go all the way and do orphanage work. Somebody has got the flair to sacrifice 40 days and 4 months at a time, 3 days monthly, then go all out and sacrifice on that. And so forth and so on. But let's not be a person that is a bystander and watching the bus that is just moving. Everybody else is moving the bus. They are pushing the bus forward. And I'm just a passenger. Staying in this country, my dear brothers, every person that is listening to this talk, including the speaker whose ears are closer to his mouth, whose heart is closer to his speech, needs the advice first. I have to serve the cause of Rasulullah Pak Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. Did we hear of Sahaba going to a certain place because they just wanted to establish businesses? Because they just wanted to marry? Their graves and qubur were made in countries. The reason of reaching there was for the sake of hidayat of mankind. When we will change our intention in this land of South Africa, then a'malukum ummalukum, that our actions will have an effect on the heart of our rulers. Our rulers are human beings. If tomorrow the urine stop, whoever the ruler is, he'll have to go for all the dialysis, whatever it is. If his eyes fail, tomorrow he'll have to go to the optometrist. If his teeth fail, he'll have to go to the dentist. He's not somebody that is out of this world. He's Allah's servant. You and I, we have got a connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that can change the flavor of our country. I'll give you a true story. And I heard this incident before. Then when I went to the country in Jamaat, I happened to ask the people that did this incident take place? Then they explained to me it took place. Then one night I was very fortunate that they had archives of this incident that is documented. Now let me explain what I'm talking about. Our Jamaat about 2 years ago went to Zambia. Zambia, as you know, like how South Africa, quite a few Muslim businessmen, etc., whatever have you. A time came in that country where the locals, their heart went in a certain direction, that whichever country you came from, like how we say xenophobia, go back, we got no time for you here. Now the beauty of those people, that they had a close connection with Hazratji Rahmatullah Ali. Hazratji Rahmatullah Ali, there's many Hazratji, but we're talking about Maulana Imam Hassan Sahib, Nawar Allah Markadaw. Say, Hazrat, what must we do? Our family is here, our house is here, our business is here, we are settled here. Where are we going to go back and undo things? So I have a copy of the letter if anybody want to see it. The original is by them. So Hazratji Rahmatullah Ali, in the long story short, mentioned, Apna niyat ko badal do. That change your intention for staying in Zambia. Your intention for Zambia should not be that I want to do business with the locals and make a huge profit. That is, by the way, to keep bread on the table, clothing on the body, roof on the head. When they did this, my dear friends, in a short while Allah Ta'ala changed the government and made it that till today the Muslims are there. You and I, we are worried. We are concerned that what will be our future here. Our future, wherever we go, can become problematic. Because if a person is taking his, like we started the first statement of this bayan, if he's taking his evil actions anywhere in the world, he's going to cause havoc for himself. If the evil actions and the bad actions and the incorrect intentions dominate the correct intentions and the correct actions, then he's not going to find solace in any part of the world. Brothers, many of the youngsters might not know this. Let's go back. Now we are 2024. Can you remember 1994? What happened in 94? There was a release of one of the freedom fighters. At that time, all the Muslims of the world were worried, because you know, when a new government and a coup takes place, there's going to be bloodshed, massacre, carnage, whatever you want to call it. And our akabirin of our country, of all the works, whether Darulum work, Tabligh work, Khanka work, and all good work that take place, Jamiyat work, etc. They put their minds together and they channeled us in a certain direction. Can you remember how we were making Yasin Khatam? Can you remember how many Ayat-e-Karima we read? Can you remember the sadaqah that we gave? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala took us through a phase which in other countries is bloodshed. Allah ta'ala just made the whole transition and a new government came into place and all of us were secure. You and I are facing similar situations now and then. This goes for any part of the world. What is being echoed here, that I have to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah ta'ala says in the Quran Kareem, "Fazkuruni askurukum." That remember me, I'll remember you. Now generally we take this, that if I remember Allah ta'ala with zikr, then Allah ta'ala will remember me, you know. Ana inda zanni abdi bi, wa ana ma'u idha dhakarani, fa in dhakarani fi nafsi, dhakartu fi nafsi. If you remember me in his heart, I'll remember him in my heart. Fa in dhakarani fi malain, dhakartu fi malain khairin minhum. If he remembers me in a gathering, I remember him in a gathering more nobler than that. Yes, that is in the place. But remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala across the front. That when a person will remember Allah ta'ala, I cannot discuss all now because my time is up. But as the great luminary, Hazrat Mufti Radha al-Haq Sahab, Damat Barakatum, at my alma mater in one of the asbaq, I'll try and just remember what he mentioned. That فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالْمَاذِرَةِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالْمَغْفِرَةِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالثَّنَاءِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالْعَطَاءِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالصَّوَالِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالنَّوَالِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالتَّوْبَةِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِأَفْوِ الْحَوْبَةِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالْإِخْلَاصِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالْخَلَاصِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالْمُنَاجَاتِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالْمُشَاهَدَاتِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالْمُجَاهَدَةِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالْمُشَاهَدَةِ فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالتَّذَلُّلِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالتَّفَضُّلِ. And for those people that are studying knowledge, Mufti Sahib added this, فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالدَّارُ الْعُلُومِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِإِزَالَةِ الْحُمُومِ وَالْغُمُومِ. He's a poet, so he added that. فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالصَّلَاةِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِالْبَرَكَاتِ. So we'll remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I can't touch on all of this. AK will say Maulana, and then also, you know, after that is difficult for me. So just take it easy. But فَاذْكُرُونِي بِالتَّوْبَةِ أَذْكُرُكُمْ بِأَفْوِ الْحَوْبَةِ. That when we make tawbah to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah will forgive our sins. Then mujahada, we have to do some effort. Whatever effort I make, whether I do tabligh, فَاذْكُرُونِ بِالْخُرُوجِ, Allah ta'ala will give us uruj. Allah ta'ala will open up the way. Whether I go to the mashayikh and sit in their company, make zikr, Allah ta'ala will open up the way for us. So each and every one of us, the message this afternoon is that good actions will bring about good conditions. And the punchline of what I'm mentioning is that I have not come to South Africa, or my forefathers, maybe they came as businessmen, but they had very good intentions. As you can see, all these masajid in Durban and madrasas, they opened, Allah bless them. So their intentions were in a place. I'm talking about myself, down the generation. We are 6, 7 generation here, most of us. Right? Now that our grandfathers have worked hard and set up our empires, is it my time now just to enjoy? Yes, enjoy the ni'mats of Allah Ta'ala, but don't forget the object, what Allah Ta'ala placed me in this country for. And insha'Allah, summa insha'Allah, they say on Yawmul Jumu'ah, There are times when du'as are accepted, and we got white-bearded people seated here. Ulama are here. People are not well are here. All these people, their dua is accepted. Little children are here with small hands. We ask Allah Ta'ala to make it easy for us, for the people in other countries. India also got election. Another part of the world, we know what's happening in Palestine, Kashmir, Yemen, all the places, I can't mention all. Allah Ta'ala make us realize and make them realize and make me realize by the grace of Allah Ta'ala that this is what I should be doing, and then we'll see that the conditions will become muwafiq and subservient and with ease and afiyat. Whatever I have told you and benefited you, tawfiq ilahi murshid pak ki barakat se.